Sisters. All right, tonight's episode, right? Oh wait, let me make sure so everybody can hear me. Cool. Oh wow, it's 44 of y'all on YouTube. What's up? Let me refresh this. Okay, so if you're on YouTube, welcome. Clearly we're patching in from IG, but day 2 of Livemas, and we're talking about sisters, and it just so happens to be live after the newest episode. This episode was it wasn't a bad episode. It was just another one with information. I feel like the highlight of this episode was the whole Aaron, ZAC, Hayden situation at the daggone basketball court. I feel like Aaron and Karen, their little moment of dinner, I'm like, okay, there's something here. And Danny really had a pretty good episode in reference to just comedic timing and her character like starting to pop. Like, she's been kind of like floating to the background for me, aside from her trying to run this boy over and kill him, child. But her personality was really able to shine as a character in this episode. But again, it was another episode with like a bunch of information being given. Do I think that Sabrina's really going down for this? No. Like, the fact that they're really trying to make the stakes seem like they're just so high is ridiculous. Because, okay, cool, you have Maurice on audio admitting to the crime, but any type of real investigator, any type of real police would also be able to discern inflection, tone, all of these things that are happening within this audio recording. It's clear that he was being sarcastic, and none of the actual evidence lines up with that. So like, for them to try to make this hey Avis, thank you for joining the membership. For them to try to make this whole bank robbery, y'all's the one who actually did it because we have an informant, but the informant is the person who was actually on trial for it, who actually did it. And they have video surveillance. Like, I know this bank has video surveillance. Like, I know certain things happen. Like, the evidence is very, very clear. So for this audio recording to now be the holy grail of this investigation is just beyond me. And it shows me exactly how, hey Desi, welcome in. It tells me exactly how bullshit this police department is. It tells me exactly how new you are, Logan, or basically just how unseasoned you are, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, cool, you have a confession, but you also still need more than that. And I don't even watch Law and Order like plenty of y'all do, and my family swear down by it, but we know that you need more than just a confession. You need stuff that's going to corroborate it. You need evidence that's actually going to support it. And the whole Andy won a big divorce settlement against the prosecutors for the prosecutor's wife, and now that's going to make it work. It's dumb. It's giving dumb, y'all. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, that whole thing it's just really giving dumb for me. Hey Linda, welcome in. Drop y'all's thoughts on the episode in the comment section down below. Before I patched it into YouTube, I mentioned how, even though we didn't get a ton of it, like, we have definitely got episodes where there was so much more ZATIMA. We didn't get a ton of it in this episode. Part of me feels very, very weird when we have these kind of like, not necessarily intimate, but like when we be having these like serious ZATIMA moments on Sisters. I'm now looking at the screen and I'm like, I think that this should have been on the ZATIMA show. Like, I don't think that this is supposed to be on this show anymore. Am I the only one who feel like that? And again, it was small. They had the one moment with Fatima, you know, breaking it to ZAC about Hayden and Heather. And then tying it on to maybe we need to slow down on the whole wedding talk. Mind you, they hadn't been having wedding talk It's Tyler Perry setting it up for Fatima to have very serious doubts, but like piggybacking it on top of additional drama for me. I feel like Fatima is the type of character who could just come out and say if she don't want to plan a wedding, or if she don't like want their engagement to move too fast. I feel like she's the type of character who would just say that. So for her to decide to say that in this moment, and then when Zach is like, but we haven't even started talking about the wedding, I was just like, because girl, it's given, this is too much, which it is, but also ain't nobody say that. It's like the person who brings up something that nobody was even talking about, and you're just like, hey Mimi Love Space. Hi Avis, how are you? Desi says he better sit down before he gets a look for everything he has left. What you mean, Desi? Drop y'all's thoughts on the episode. Like, what were your favorite parts of the episode? What are some of the things that are confusing you? It feels like this season has started to slow up a bit. Like, when we were right around going into Karen and the whole letters era, it was like, oh, this is really, really getting good. And then coming out of her reading them damn letters, it has been a decline. Not necessarily in like, I'm not saying it's bad for the show, but it's just been a like slow pace. I'm really looking forward to next week's episode, because to see Calvin beat Q with a golf club, I'm here for. Like, that alone, I'm 100% here for. It has been a long time coming. We finally get more Reese back in next week's episode, and that's going to be the mid-season finale. He's already like, I'm not testifying against Sabrina. The whole case don't make no daggone sense. So like, you really, as a prosecutor who didn't do your due diligence clearly, so maybe you shouldn't even be a lawyer at this point. If you're so mad that Andy got your wife all this money, maybe you need to just be mad at your whatever school you went to for law school, and your inadequacy and your lack of intelligence, because it's given you don't actually know how to do your job, and that's your fault, not nobody else's fault. How are you going to offer Maurice a walk when he like on a confession tape, a coerced confession tape with him, to testify against a girl who had nothing to actually like, and it's all the whole case is going to hinge on what this man says all of a sudden. So then at what point do we shift from what Q said to now it's all about what Maurice said, and we don't need evidence to corroborate any of it? I don't even have a law degree, and something tells me that this is saying mistrial all over it. Like, cut it out. Truly. Mimi Love Space says Tyler is getting bored when he writes people going to jail. He's not inspired. Examples have nots. If loving you is wrong. I didn't think about that. I didn't watch have nots, but I watched If Loving You Is Wrong, and I can't even remember her name now, but she was my favorite character on that show. The mama, and the whole Travis thing, and the whole, like, her, she went to jail and just stayed there for seasons, and I didn't think about it. Wait a minute. Points might have been made. Y'all think Tyler Perry was bored with Sabrina's character, so he put her in jail? Because the whole reason for her being there is it's not given actually like storyline. Like, he needed to add additional elements for it to make sense of her and Maurice potentially taking a fall for this. Like, the way that the robbery took place, he should have did that differently if he knew that he was gonna be going down this road of like potentially Kelly. Yes, that's her name. Kelly. Oh, and then that's where I was introduced to Trevante Rose. That was the first time I think I had ever seen him in anything, and I loved him. And he was only on season 1, and his career started to take off, so he was up out of there ASAP. And then we got Travis crazy ass. Like, I can't. Melrose One says flimsy evidence. Some of this seems true to life as to how some black people are unfairly arrested by the police. Some cases don't make sense in real life either. But they they have even more like something. Like, it might make sense. It might seem circumstantial, but there is circumstances to actually pull together. Like, I get it. And if he's going to tell the story of like black people wrongfully accused and like facing people who actually go to jail and like sit in jail waiting for their trial, and then they didn't do it the whole time, or they actually go to jail, do time, and then come out 15, 20 years later, comes out that they actually didn't do it and they get released. I get that, but to me, it was still requiring him to do better storytelling for this particular story too, because it's not just this, like, they actually, like, part of the lawyers' jobs, right? When we hire like lawyers to defend us, and when lawyers are prosecuting us, a big part of it, and y'all should really watch Reasonable Doubt on Hulu, because this really, Scandal brought it to my attention. How to Get Away with Murder really like taught me this, and then Reasonable Doubt recently reminded me of this. The lawyer's job, for the most part, is to tell the best story, the most convincing story, supported by as much evidence as possible. So, like, the story that Tyler has for these people is, like, still flimsy AF. Not saying that this is the case for all people who are wrongfully accused and wrongfully prosecuted and wrongfully arrested. Because it definitely are situations where it's just like, yo, this makes absolutely no sense. But at least they had certain things that they pulled together to try to make no sense. Like, this is literally like, I want you to go to jail. I'm the writer, so I'm gonna put you in jail. And I actually don't even have a fake solid something for my prosecutor and my investigator to be going off of. And then when you think about Logan as a character, when Logan was introduced to us, he was introduced, like, we already had the arc with him where it's like, can we trust him? Is he for real, or is he not? Danny was very skeptical of him, and then it comes out that he's freeing, sex traffic victims, right? And he's a really great guy. He's like positioned to be here morally. Cool. That was the thing that established him of like, okay, he's intelligent. He, has some type of foundation that he's tied to, nonprofit. He like gives his time. He does all these really, really great things, and he's sensible, right? So for it to be also Logan's character that is now moving this part of the storyline into this place, it additionally makes no sense, because this type of person would seemingly be a little bit more diligent, would just investigate, actually, because there's really no investigation happening here. And I hate it. Like, had it been Hayden who like pulled this cockamamie thing together, then I could have been like, okay, because Hayden be grasping at straws and calling in favors. But like, Tyler Perry literally used Logan, who was supposed to be our resident good guy in this police force, stand-up guy, to walk us into this storyline. So every bit of it just makes no sense to me, honestly. I can't wait. I need Hayden to get the business ASAP. Hayden, why did you even come to the basketball court? You heard it was a basketball game here, but you don't even play basketball. You have no friends. Like, you heard ZAC was here. That's what you should have said. You heard ZAC plays basketball here. That's what you meant. We're going to talk about that, because, Lord, Bunny Joe says, I think Sabrina and Maurice were doing separate projects, so Tyler wrote them out to allow them to do their projects. Y'all be like coming through with the with the stories and the rationalization of why people don't appear. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, and I'm only saying that because Sistas doesn't take longer than 3 weeks to film. Like, their show is a 21, 22 episode show in a season, which is like standard television. And when on other networks, that takes people a whole year to film. Tyler Perry films those seasons in less than 3 weeks. So they don't actually need to go elsewhere. Like KJ was filming Power, Raising Kanan. Like, I don't think that the reason why they're in jail is because they were filming other stuff, because they shoot at such an accelerated rate. So I don't think that that's the case. I can understand how y'all reason that way, but no. They shoot 22 episodes in less than 3 weeks. This is because Tyler decided to, or like somebody else mentioned, he's uninspired or bored and couldn't figure out what to do with the character, so then he decided to do that. DNC Greatness says, I'm so tired of Karen getting the short end of the stick on this show that I literally stopped watching. Listen, you already know how I feel about her as a character and the way I have to fight for my life every week in the comment section because I'm blocking people who just want to be senselessly rude about her. Nobody I talk to seems to fully understand my POV. TP needs to let these women move on in peace. What is your point of view, DNC? I completely do, and watching my videos, you should definitely get like, oh no, she actually does understand Karen's point of view. I'm not rationalizing all of her mistakes or missteps, but I just understand where the motivations come from for her to make even the missteps that she makes. Hey Jess, just coming in, still watching the show, but Andy's the most frustrated, unlikable character, yet Karen gets the most hate. And the crazy thing is, when you really think about it, Andy has not moved anywhere. So like, while we have seen her and visually KJ continues to slay and serve and all that jazz, it's basically the same as like a Sabrina or Maurice. Like, she might as well have not been on screen because Andy's in the exact same place now as she was in season 3. When did her and Gary really start to like? Season 3. And it's been the same thing this entire time. So I don't even know. I don't even know if I can say that Karen is actually getting the short end of the stick. I think that she's the most misunderstood by the fandom, for sure. She's the most disrespected by the fandom, for sure. But what I will say is I feel like Karen has been given story to work with. Her character has been given a story to tell. I would rather Karen go through what she has gone through and us see that than us see her where Andy is. Like, you want Gary naked in your bed by the time you get home. Why? Because I don't want him to suit. Girl, cut it out. Cut it out. Yes, Karen has growing to do. She's one of my favorites on the show, though. Yeah, and I think, I don't know, I've really been obsessed with how Karen has been shown on screen, because I don't feel like we actually get to see this. I don't think that we get, like, I think that so much of what we saw happen to Karen actually happens with a lot of women in her predicament, but those are the, like, what she said out loud was like the internal thoughts or the internal dialogue. Like, we've gone through it or be going through it and think of these things to do but don't act on it, and Karen actually was acting on it, and I just really respected that, honestly. Like, I just really respected it. And to me, like I said, she actually has a story, so we get to watch the process of her getting through it. So many people like, Karen just needs to move on, Karen just needs to get over it, and it's like, let's take a second and think about that. You want her to get over it, you want her to move on, but then you also have a problem with her doing the things that she's doing, which is actually her road to get over it and move on. Like, the only way to get over it is to go through it. The only way to move on is to move right on through it. And I think it's something that people are going to see probably in like season 6 when we arrive at a completely different place, and then Tyler's off to a like different arc. Like, he's probably going to be off to like the whole geriatric pregnancy motherhood arc for her, and then she'll be out of this whole love of my life, it didn't work out, how do I release it, grieve relationships, understand myself, where all of that. Like, once this whole part of it is put to bed, then people are going to be able to look back and be like, oh, okay, you will be able to identify the moment that you believe that she actually made the turn for the better, the moment where things click, the moment where she gave up on her dream reality with the relationship, in the moment that she accepted and appreciated and felt grateful for the position that she's in. Like, I think you're going to be able to see all of that once you're looking back on it. But so many people are like, while we're in the thick of it, it's just like, oh, she just needs to get over it. And it's just like, this is also why so many of y'all are still not over y'all's ex. This is why so many of y'all are taking toxic traits into y'all's next relationships, because y'all have not actually processed or grieved your past relationship, grieved your past love, and went through what it would take you personally to live out, process, see, feel, be all of the things, and then release it. So those are just my thoughts about that. Oh, y'all are going in. DNC Greatness says, me and you agree, E. I truly wish we were friends in real life. That's hilarious. I love that. I mean, the people I talk to over text and phone deleted my social media due to cyberbullying. Never understand me. And cyberbullying is not okay. And guess what, y'all? I actually get cyberbullied too. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world to me when people still try to do it. I'm just like, so you come to my page, my channel, my platforms to tell me to stop telling you how I feel. You could just go about your digital life. I don't understand it, but I am very much so convinced that the most vocal people online are miserable people. So that kind of puts it into perspective for me. I hate that you are, feeling pushed out of platforms and places that can connect you with really great people, and you can find your, new BFFs and another tribe that more aligns with your mindset and your lifestyle and all of that. Because I found some really great people, like even as subscribers, like I have now friends who started out as subscribers of my channel that we like talk every day, and it's natural and it's cool, and we're just very much so aligned in different ways. And it's not that we agree about everything, because we be debating about all types of stuff, but it's a very safe space, and the friendship developed organically. So there's so much power in social media and being able to connect us with like-minded people. I would say give it a try, but then also you just have to put up boundaries and parameters to protect yourself. So like, I don't follow #AllAmerican anymore on Twitter. I don't follow Sistas on BET on Twitter. I muted all of that because it's like mostly like ZATIMA super stands and like people who just hate Karen so much, are spewing nothing but hate and like not actually talking about it. If I do live tweet about the show, that is what it is. I will block and delete somebody quickly. Like, I had to release, and this is a tangent, y'all, so just bear with me because I'm going to go back to the show, I promise. But I had to release the idea that I needed a reason to block people online. Like, you don't need a reason. If you read a comment or something that somebody says to you and it does not make you feel good, or you don't like the way that it makes you feel, or you don't like the thoughts that it brings up for you, block. That's it. People have come to me, you blocked me. Like, they'll go and get a person to message me, or like make another fake account and like, but you blocked me, you need to unblock me. No, I don't. I wasn't disrespectful to you. I wasn't mean to you. What you said, what you did does not align with my energy, doesn't align with my mindset, doesn't align with me. So I'm going to help us unalign, because you are the person who actually pulled up next to me, and all I did was say, this ain't a space for you. So I said all that to say, try to come back if you feel like you're in a good mental space to do so, because you can find people who are like-minded, especially in my comment section now. After the Karen letters and people revealed themselves, people were waking up finding that they couldn't even comment on my videos no more. Because your 4-page hate letter to Karen got you blocked. So in my comment section specifically, I know that you can find people who actually understand Karen's walk of life. And again, not necessarily saying that everything that she does is okay, because it's not. But they just understand and they can speak about it from a healthy place or in a healthy way. Also, there's people who don't like Karen in my comment section who never feel the need to be disrespectful, or never position their opinion as a like negative bullet or torpedo at anybody else, including Karen. So you can definitely find people that you can talk to and align with, and it's probably easier to do so online than it is out in the real world, because that's just the state of where we're at. But don't let these people take things from you that could actually be beneficial for yourself in your life, because they will, honey. They will. And they don't even want it for no reason. People come for your peace simply because they don't know peace for themselves. And I'm like, that's cute. Block. Ho. Go and disrupt somebody else. Where's your mama at? Terrorize her. Because not me. People call her dumb and said Aaron would end up being crazy, etc. Then when Zach comes to her salon and looks her, when she keeps telling him to stop, it puts her in a whirlwind. Yes, that makes her want him again. And then the pregnancy. I think the pregnancy is the thing that people were not giving enough credit to when it came to Karen and her mindset and her not being able to release Zach. I 100% believe that we would have been through this grieving process of this relationship already if she was not pregnant. That changes things. Desi says, yes, that's why I love watching you, Erica. You aren't biased with any of the characters. Yeah, even the ones that I like. Like, I can love the character down, but I'm also going to say, like, okay, you tripping. But then when they're not tripping, they're not tripping. Like, when there's actually things to what's going on and it makes sense of, like, how they got to where they at, that's what it is. And that's another thing online. People really struggle with that. People struggle. And this is something, like, me and some of my friends talk often. Some subscribers and friends that talk often, daily. We have discussed this ad nauseum at points because they remind me of, like, some people in my comment section are fighting for themselves. Like, they were left, or like they might have been what they thought was the Fatima in the relationship, and then the Karen came back, and they actually, Karen, and in their situation, took that person back. So now they will hate a Karen no matter what. Like, so there's so many people who are online and they're spewing certain things from their lived experiences, from their trauma. We all do it. Like, I speak a lot from my point of view, my lived experiences, but I don't try to let it make me biased. I try to let it make me informed. But there's plenty of people who have picked the hill that they're going to die on, and it's simply to protect their trauma, and they're, like, trying to prove and fight for themselves because they couldn't in their real life. And it's just like, you do know that none of this is real, right? But they don't. And that's cool too. We just got to remove ourselves from those people. Like, there's so many times that y'all have sent me, Erica, join this Facebook group, or come over here and do this, and come over here and do that. If I identify that it will not bring me titillating conversation and mind expanding conversation, and not just be a bash fest, a hate fest, a big ass ball of negativity, I'm not doing it. Y'all can have it, but I'm not doing it. I'm good. And people have tried to come, like, at an incident on a Twitter space a few weeks ago, and some people who don't follow me came and were, like, trying to defend Zach or whatever the case might be, but they wanted to be negative and they wanted to be rude. Okay, good. I'll disconnect. I have conversations with grown adults or mature-minded young people. I don't argue with children or immature-ass adults. Like, I just don't do it. Mimi Loves Peace says, I love how Andy said Bree was her highest priority, then proceeds to set up a D appointment with Raggedy Gary. Points were made. Andy is such a bad friend. Like, every time she takes 2 steps forward, she takes 22 of them back. And Robin disrespected her, but Gary is another level. Right. That part. Like, I really don't understand how Andy is just so unequivocally pissed with Robin, but Gary is okay. Robin humiliated you, girl, in the privacy of his office with just the 2 of you. But Gary has been embarrassing you all around town, up and down, in front of anybody who will listen. In front of fake sex therapists, in front of fake therapists, in front of his ex-wife. Probably the people in his office know that you dumb. Like, girl. DNC Greatness says, Fatima is nothing more than a carbon copy of a woman he believes she can change a man, and that she is the special one. The woman is already tried, and she hasn't been with Zach for a year. I don't know if Fatima is I can change a man. I think that Fatima truly believes in Zach's potential, and to her point, aside from the things that started rolling out the woodwork after her heart already got involved, he hadn't given her any reason to pump the brakes. Now, I do think that they could be going about their relationship differently, knowing the circumstances that they are in by way of him and his drama. Like, I definitely think that Fatima shouldn't be living with him. I have so many thoughts about that, actually. But I don't know if she's I can change a man. I think that she's a ride or die. I think that that's her archetype for sure. And then once she attaches. So we're kind of there. But I don't know if she's actually trying to change Zach. Because if she was trying to change Zach, I think that she would be a little bit more dominant and like demanding things of him. And she's mostly demanding things of everybody else around him. Almost as if he ain't the nucleus that is the one that needs to be checked, in my opinion. Hi, the real Aaron Collins. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy. We have so much content. And I have these conversations pretty regularly. I'm going live every day until Christmas Eve, y'all, for 12 days of liveness. Tonight, we're talking about Sistas. Last night, we did All American Universe. If you want to catch that replay, it's on my second channel, Erica Vane TV 2. I will link it in the description box so that you can go and check it out. And then tomorrow, we are talking about Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Desi says Facebook is crazy, especially if you like Karen. I don't even get on Facebook in like real life except for stuff that I have to do for my clients and like my business. So you ain't got to tell me. I started trying to like, I need to be marketing my content on all the platforms, and I was just like, I'm gonna leave Facebook for the last because I can't. Twitter is already a cesspool at certain times, and I can only imagine what Facebook is giving. I think I've been in one group and I left and I was just like, yeah, I ain't doing this. Mimi loves peace. Sorry, I keep saying space. Says, yep, but I'm not saying either man is good for her. It's just, peep you, Andy. I love that. I love people who can see Andy for who she is, aside from the gorgeous face and the wardrobe that's to die for. Because that's another thing that people don't want to, that's the like quiet thing that we don't ever say really loudly. So many people, characters, but also people in real life, get passes because they pretty. Get passes because they look aspirational. They look like something that other people aspire to. So you ignore their toxicity. You ignore their problematic mindset. You ignore that they are not consistent. You ignore that they don't really like you or love you because you just want to be adjacent or close to the aesthetic. And that annoys me. People going so hard for Andy as a character. I'm like, okay, you have drank the pretty Kool-Aid. Because that is the only thing consistently that she's given. She is selfish. She is narcissistic. She is. And a terrible friend. I love, though, on the 100th episode special, when KJ was talking about her character, Andy, and she was talking about her and Gary being the two sides of the same coin. I was like, yo, that is dope that she had. Well, of course she does, because she's playing the hell out of this character. So it's great that she has this clear understanding of who this woman is that she's playing. But she was just so right. She's just so right about how much Andy is like Gary. He says Andy is a trash friend. If Karen ever decides to drop her ass, I don't want to see or hear tears. And why would she bring up Danny's fresh domestic violence situation like that? Because she's not thinking about it. Like she literally just wants the spotlight off of her. She don't want the judgment on her, so she quickly threw out that thing. And I was just like, when it was happening, I was like, so we acting like this was not traumatic? Because this was very traumatic for Danny. And I thought that Mignon did such an amazing job, because she's all haha kiki, I'm drunk and I'm high, but then the moment that is brought up, like you can see the tears welling in her eyes, and she's like taken back to that place, and I'm like, this girl is acting here. This girl, she is dropped the hell in, because Mignon really played it like, yo, you really just brought up this traumatic moment for me. Like, I didn't think I was going to jail, but was 100% okay with it, because at that moment I needed that man to die. Ciao. When is the current season 4 going to be on BET Plus? I think season 4 is on BET Plus already, but it's also on whatever you watch, like, regular cable on. Like, I use Philo. Y'all should really check it out. It's a really cool app, with a bunch of channels. Like, it has BT and VH1 and, like, Aspire and Revolt and all that. And that's where I watch this is at. PHILO. And you can go back and rewatch all of the past, episodes of Sisters on that. It DVRs everything for me. It has like unlimited DVR. I can watch things live in the moment. I absolutely love it because even on the West Coast, which I'm usually on the West Coast, but for the holidays I'm here on the East Coast. But when I'm on the West Coast, I can watch stuff in East Coast time. I'm like, yo, I absolutely adore it. I hear you 100% E, but the reason why I say I feel Fatima thinks she can change him is because of the combo her and Andy had in season 4 finale where Andy compared Zach to a broken down car. Okay, but even with that analogy, I think when I think about changing somebody, it's like if you have a broken down Toyota, but you really want it to be a Porsche, and you start swapping out pieces for Porsche pieces. I don't think that that's the same thing to say, I have a broken down Toyota and the transmission is messed up and I need new brakes and I'm going to go get new brakes and I'm going to go get a replacement transmission, if that makes sense. The things that Fatima was saying in that talk give me vibes that she really thinks she is better than Karen and special, and that he'd never do her dirty. She really believes that man changed for her. I think you should really go and watch Fatima the show, and I think you should watch this season of Sisters, because I don't get the vibes that Fatima thinks that she's better than Karen at all. But I also never have. Like, all Fatima really had to say to confirm it for me was when she literally said, I used to be Karen. And I have, before she even said that, I literally was like, Fatima is Karen, but like 3 years in the future, after she's already gone through, like, Fatima has already gone through her SAC moment, and we got to see that in Fatima. We got to see Ian, who was her SAC. We don't know what the hell Fatima was doing in that relationship with Ian, and as a result of him being detached, not being fully in enough for him to pop out and just get married on her, break up with her on Friday and then get married on her on Sunday. But like in Fatima that she talked about, you know, he just didn't appreciate things and he wasn't good and this and that. Like, we don't know what her responses were to that, similar to like how we're seeing it now. I love, like, Duvall said, I don't know if it was on a 100th episode special or if it was something else I was watching, but he was talking about how people so easily judge Karen because they got to see all of her stuff. They didn't get to, and then also people were able to switch up and like be on Fatima, like be team Fatima really quickly, because they got to see the start and all of the growth and all of the, like, the falling in love part. We didn't actually get to see the falling in love part for Karen and Zach. We also didn't, like, we just didn't get to see certain things. So because those things aren't also present in your mind, it makes it easier for you to go with a particular narrative. But I don't think that Fatima as a character thinks she's better than Karen. No. And part of me, like, aside from anything that she's ever said, the amount of grace and patience that she's had with Karen, to me, also shows that. Because a woman who actually thought that she was better than Karen would not have let a lot of that stuff slide, like, at all. I've been in situations and I ain't let nothing slide because I knew I was better than that hoe. So I'm gonna just leave it there because I don't want to incriminate myself, but you know what I'm saying. It's only been a few weeks. Can't nobody convince me that Zach don't want to Deja Raw. That's a conversation, baby. I don't know where I stand with it, but that is a conversation to be had about Zach and would he sleep with Deja. I haven't made a video about it or talked about it, but I feel like that's something I should probably think about and then open the floor to talk about. He is only being good for right now because he's scared of Fatima, and meeting Madam will make it even worse. The real Aaron Collins says, Andy had so many chances to get away from Gary, but she still stayed with him until he ultimately dissed her with the telescope. Let's not forget that his ex Jasmine isn't completely out of the picture. Where the hell is Jasmine at? Come take him back, girl. 'Cause I can't. DNC says that man never treated her right. No way. Fatima thinks she won for now. But in the end, them tables going to turn. I mean, he has treated Fatima well. Karen's going to see all this was her blessing in disguise. Karen will see that, I think. The fact that Zach wants beef with Aaron and not like him speaks volumes. He doesn't like Aaron the same way that Karen doesn't like Fatima, and for that same reason as well. Okay, I'm not convinced that Karen don't like Fatima. I think that Karen is jealous of Fatima. So that's different. Like, she actually does like Fatima, but she don't like that she likes Fatima. Zach literally don't like Aaron. So I think it's different. Some of y'all have been saying that in the comment section, and I meant to make a video talking about it because I understand where y'all are pulling that from, but I don't think it's the same. I think that Zach literally don't like this man, and it makes no sense to me. It really makes no sense to me. This man has done nothing to you. Zach even said in this episode, you always so positive to me. Like, sir, what is going on with you? Karen actually, I mean, she, okay, how do I say this? How do I say this? No, I'm just going to say it, and we're going to work it out after I say it. Karen has a reason to not like Fatima. You stole my man, right? Like, that's a logical, like, okay, I feel away. And then, not only that, you are potentially stealing my best friend. And now Danny on board, now you about to take two of my best friends. Like, there's something there. Zach has none of that. So to me, it is not the same. The fact that Aaron can't even say hello to Fatima. People walking down, people when she's on her run say hello to her, but she can't say hello, or he can't say hello to Fatima. Zachary, be for real, because no, I think it's easy to say that Zach don't like Aaron for the same reasons that Karen don't like Fatima. But I don't think it's that surface. Again, I don't think that Karen actually don't like Fatima. That's one. She just happens to still want Zach in this moment, and Fatima is the obstacle. I don't believe that Zach actually wants Karen. So, at least in this moment, I think that he loves her, but I don't think that he wants her. So that's also further evidence of, like, sir, what is the problem? You would think that the person who was going to take this person off of your hands, or going to love this person in the way that you're choosing not to love this person anymore, and is presenting a very viable option, you would be all for. It makes no sense. And that just makes me want to go back to, like, at the beginning. And I'm like, okay, so if he's still in his feelings about how it started, if he's still in his feelings about Karen replacing him before he got a chance to replace her, then I could kind of see that. But then all of that does not matter the moment that you decide that you actually want to marry somebody else and you're good with your new situation. Like, that to me would alleviate any additional beef that you have. And I know I'm not supposed to say this, but part of me he don't want Aaron to talk to Fatima because he could be scared that, oh, if Fatima and Aaron got cool, she would take him. I mean, he would take her too. Is that what it is, Zachary? Are we intimidated? Because it's not just, oh, it's the same reason why Karen... No, Karen got layers. And Karen actually, like, at the end of the day, Karen knows that she actually likes Fatima. But it's also like, I can't like you right now. And I get it. Yes, that part about Zach cheating. He is definitely trying with Fatima not to hurt her. But him going to that party and let Deja dance on him was not cool. Not cool. And the way that I was fighting for my life on them lives and in the comment section, because every Tom, Dick, and Harry wanted to be like, well, he let Deja dance on him and sit on him, but then she also went to have coffee and didn't tell Zach. Do y'all hear yourself? Zach is jealous of Aaron because he makes Karen happy in a way that he couldn't. I think him and Karen are in the same space, just dealing differently. I feel like, and I've said this so many times, Zach has already gone through the stage that Karen is. It's so annoying. Sorry, y'all. We got cut off with the previous live. But we back. All right. What was I saying? What was I saying? I'm sorry, YouTube. Instagram cuts off now on every hour. Annoying. And it keeps giving us features we ain't asked for, updates we ain't asked for. I can't. Damn, what was I saying before it stopped? Last comment I read was Zach is jealous of Aaron because he makes Karen happy in a way that he couldn't. I think him and Karen are in the same space, just dealing differently. Oh, that's what I was saying. Zach went through the same thing that Karen has gone through in season 4 and 5. Zach went through in season 3. And nobody wants to remember it when he was terrorizing her on that bike. But I remember very clearly how he was fighting for their love and not going anywhere and like going to do what he needed to do and wasn't taking no for an answer. So I definitely think that they have gone through similar journeys as it pertains to like grieving this relationship. I think that Zach is in a very interesting space right now. And I can't say that him and Karen are in the same space because Karen is not in love yet. Zach is actually in love. So I don't know if I can actually agree. Oh, the real Aaron Collins season 5 won't be on BT Plus until it finishes airing. So that probably won't be until like March of next year. Aaron makes Zach feel small just by simply existing. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. But then also, I'm just like, Zach, Aaron is the type of man that you actually befriend. Like, he is the type of man who could, like, really rub off on you really, really well. And given the stable of friends that you got, like, you need all of the great influences that you could possibly take or handle. I don't know. Zach, I think that Zach is just really in a tricky place, and I haven't gotten my head all the way around what that is, because I do genuinely believe that he wants to be with Fatima, but I also believe that he's not over Karen. I think that he has a lot of unresolved resentment, and I also believe that he has not been held accountable. He doesn't hold himself accountable in the ways that he needs to, and he has not been held accountable in the ways that he needs to be. So he is kind of like in this like purgatory space of like, life is okay, but it could be better. You was talking about Fatima meeting up with Ian and people talking about that. Oh yeah, like people were like basically validating that it was okay for Zach to interact with Deja the way that he did, because she went to go have coffee, and it's just like, while Fatima could have told him, I also am a big believer in like really knowing your partner. And Zach has shown this time and time again. And especially given all that she has had to compromise within that relationship, and all of the space that she has had to create for not only him, but all of his baggage. Her not telling him about the coffee meeting should not even be a damn thing. It really shouldn't. Because one, currently, as my man, I am very much so aware that you are not emotionally intelligent enough to create the space that I need to process some of this unresolved trauma from this past relationship. It's one thing for her to be meeting up with an ex. Zach will make it about him. Then when she have the conversation, and then she starts to tear up about the abortion, there's no way in hell that Zach will be able to really handle that the way that she needed it to be handled, or better than she could handle it herself. So I am still standing 10 toes down on she made the right decision for her and not telling him. Because with Zach, it would have become a whole other thing. Zach has yet to really learn. Like, he loves Fatima, but he has yet to learn how to check certain things about himself so that he can love her fully, properly. And again, I stand 10 toes down on that. Y'all are not going to convince me any other ways. The way that he trivially throws around the fact that Aaron's wife killed herself in front of Karen, when she got home, when she got home, and she's like, he has cancer, and he's like, oh, everybody got cancer. It's like, do you hear yourself, Bozo the Clown? So no, I don't fault her for not being so forthcoming, because and sometimes it be like this. And if you're in a healthy relationship, then you should be able to withhold something if you need to and debrief later so that you can make sure that you're good. Like, her knowing her partner and I wouldn't have told him either, because I just can't with you right now. Like, it ain't about you. I don't want to answer your questions. I don't want you wondering if I still love him. And even if you are wondering that, I don't want you to ask me, because I'm still processing all of my stuff. I can't take on your stuff and my stuff in my situation, all the while I'm fighting 16 other battles of your because I love you that much. Like, no. Absolutely not. So I think I stand 10 toes down in it. She ain't telling about the coffee, and she shouldn't have, because she needed to protect her damn self. And she was definitely going to tell him. It's not like she was going to hide this and like potentially rekindle this like, man. Sorry, I lost where I can agree with you somewhat when you say that Zach has already been through what Karen is now, but I don't think that he fully did, because the night he saw Karen in the hotel is the same night he met Fatima. Yeah, and I struggle with this because I really believe that his feelings in the relationship is genuine with Fatima, but part of me, like a little part of me in the back of me, is like, is this a knee-jerk relationship reaction to Karen? And it just sucks that Fatima is such a great girl, because this would be so much clearer if Fatima wasn't actually a great girl. Like, if he had gotten with Deja after Karen, he would 100% be on his way back to Karen right now. It would be a no-brainer. Deja, you cute girl. But I said what I said, it is what it is, right? So, I don't know. You're right. That was the same night. DNC says, Zach has always been intimidated by Aaron, and for good reason. But Zach fought for Karen for 2 seconds. Preston is the man I feel truly fights for his woman. Rodeo been fighting for seasons, and he should have let it go. Y'all know, I love, well, he's positioned as a white man on the show, so it's a little different. I love watching black men fight for black women and take on some of our mess and not need us to be perfect, clean cut, and still love us anyway. Love it. I'm going to go ahead and extend that to Preston, who's supposed to be the white man on the show. But also, I also want people to do it up until a certain extent. Danny, the best thing that happened in this episode for Danny is that she finally was honest about she don't know what she wants. Girl, we have known that for 3 or 4 seasons now. You don't know what you want in your romantic life. You don't know what you want in your personal life. You don't even know what you want in your friendship life, because the way that y'all circle of friends is operating, you're not clear, boo. You're not clear at all. A lot of these hoes ain't either, but you ain't clear on none of it. All of Danny's life is like, wake up, get high, let's see what happens. Ma'am, you're 35. That's not how life works no more. Not for you. I'm sorry. Zach tried to get Karen back for a few episodes, but it's cool. I'm just interested to see that energy is gone once she actually moves on for real. That's one thing I'm going to be over. If Zach decides to create some mess when Karen has finally let the ship sail, I'm done. He still loves Karen. It just doesn't want to be due to his pride. So he's showing it down and going on autopilot with Fatima. Those kind of situations never go well in the end. That's true. Desi says she went to have coffee, not to dance with him. Exactly. What Zach did was uncalled for. He could have definitely handled it way different. And when people ask me, I agree. And when people ask me, well, how could he have handled it differently? And this is why I say that Zach has actually not changed. He has more money, but his mindset is still exactly the same. A changed Zach would have stormed out of that house, still mad, still said all he said, even though I felt like it was uncalled for, how he came at her in that bathtub. He would have still did all of that, and he would have got in his car, and he would have pulled around the corner and sat in his car and let her think that he was out doing whatever with whoever. That would have shown me that he actually had changed, that he's actually thinking about their relationship, that he actually cares in this way, and he has found new ways to process his disappointment, his feelings of being disrespected or whatever. Like, that would have shown me that. Him calling Bryce and going to a bar would have shown me that he changed. You immediately giving us a Zach attack? That is not change behavior. Desi says, yes, I only thought Fatima could have said I had a meeting, but I'm not ready to talk. Zach needed to learn to let Fatima open up to him on her own time and not force it. And then also, yes, also there's something to be said. Like, also Zach don't do enough self, like, and a lot of men don't. If you're watching this on replay, men, sorry, not sorry, but this is a way for you to actually take something and, like, ask yourself, survey yourself, audit yourself. And if it applies, use it. If it don't, let it fly. But a lot of men don't reflect nearly as much as women do. So, like, part of me wanted him to also be like, okay, she didn't tell me. Why didn't she tell me? Did she feel safe enough to tell me? He immediately flies off the handle with all of how he feels, when the real opportunity there for growth for both of them, well, growth for him and growth for their relationship, is for him to take a more reflective place and be like, well, damn, why didn't she tell me? I do feel hurt that she didn't tell me, but why didn't she tell me? Did she not feel safe enough to tell me? Is there anything I could do to make her feel comfortable to tell me? Like, did I not create enough? Like, what could I do? Because that's what we do. That's what Fatima has been doing. None of these problems are Fatima's problems. Every last one of Zach's problem is 100% Zach's problem. And she's literally coming to the relationship like, well, what can I do? Oh, I can go up to the pole and smash Heather's head into the wall until I be at the house at 6. Okay, cool. I can go to the penthouse and meet up with Karen and my all blacks and hear what she got to say, but I'm going to bust in the head if I have to. Okay, cool. Like, she comes to their side of with her side of the relationship like, well, what can I do? Zach is very reactionary. He's not thinking about, well, what can I do? As most men do. Just Dave says, if honest, I think Fatima was eventually meant to be a placeholder on the road for Karen and Zach to get back together, which I don't want that, but the fans love Fatima together. I agree. I don't think that they ever planned for Fatima to be a thing in this way. Savannah, it is the filter, honey, because I am tired from the gym. Today was leg day. I'm exhausted, and I'm thanking God for this filter, because aside from me actually hydrating my skin, because this East Coast winter is kicking my skin behind, it's the filter, but thank you. I feel the same. DNC says I feel the same way, sis, and still feel that Tyler Perry is such a menace. He may try some like putting Zach and Karen back together eventually down the line. My petty side would be down. I don't know if I would be opposed. I don't know if I would be opposed. I do watch Riches on Amazon, and I'm going to be, in this 12 days of live miss, I'm going to be talking about it soon. I gotta post the schedule, because I didn't post it yet, so y'all have no idea what I'm going live and talking about. But that is one of the things I'm going to be talking about. Riches on Amazon. I did watch it, absolutely loved it. I got videos coming for it as well, but we're going to go live and talk about it. I'm also going live to talk about Blood and Water. What am I talking about tomorrow? Tomorrow is Black Panther. The day after is P-Valley, and then after that I think it's Blood and Water, and then Riches. But I'm going to post my live schedule for the 12 days of live miss, because Riches is really great. Zach better not, because Fatima will hurt him. But I want to see how long we're going to go with this, because I am getting to the point that if Zach does not start to make some substantial growth in the emotional intelligence department and the self-discipline department, then I'm going to start wanting Fatima to find somebody else, because he's not on her level. They look great together. They have a very genuine love and connection, but I also, for her, like, forever love, for her to get married to somebody, the person I would want her to be married to, I would want to be able to meet her and handle her life the same way that she's able to meet this person and handle theirs. Y'all are going in on the chat on YouTube. Shout out to y'all. Fatima may end up being a Melinda 2.0. Who is Melinda? If Zach goes back to Karen eventually. Oh, from, y'all just love to bring up Acrimony. That's the lady name. That's Taraji's name in Acrimony. And does Tima wrong, that woman will lose it. I hope not. Because she's also at a place right now where she keeps giving him outs. Like, she's like, are you sure? She's like checking in with him, like, are you sure? Is it something that you want to explore? Like, I think for Fatima, as long as it doesn't, if they don't work out, as long as it's not him cheating or doing some shady stuff, but if he come to her like a man and like reveals that he's confused, reveals that he's still in love with Karen, like be open and honest, I don't think that is the launch of her villain origin story at all. I think if he starts doing shady stuff, sneaking around and cheating and texts and calls and all of that other kind of stuff, I think that would be something that would have her go to a different place. But just simply like being honest, nah. And I also don't want Zach back with Karen until he can be that type of man either. Like, until you can be honest and you know exactly how you feel and you can articulate that. And again, you have a little bit more emotional intelligence to you, some self-discipline and awareness. I don't think that you're ready for Karen ass either. Yeah, a lot of y'all like to say that, but Karen don't want no smoke with Fatima. Karen is skinny, but she ain't a killer, but don't push her. Like, y'all can put some respect on Karen's name. I don't think that Karen is scared of Fatima at all, like y'all want her to be. Jess says, I'm glad I'm doing Blood and Water. Oh, Blood and Water was a struggle. So if you don't know, I have a second channel, and my season 1 Blood and Water breakdowns are all on that channel right now. You can go and watch it like after this live. I will be putting season 3 here, but season 1 and 2 are going to be over there. And then yes, I will be doing a live. I think I'm going to be doing a live over there. So go and check out Erica Vane TV 2 TOO. For additional content. We're trying to bring it, y'all. I'm really trying to bring it this holiday season and just create and have a ton of conversations. But it was hard. It was very hard to get into. Blood and Water, the first episode kept taking me out and I struggled with it. But, you know, we here and it's great. Only thing is, like, now it's another set of teenagers that got me stressed. But it's a really great show. Karen isn't faced with Fatima like that. But, like, the thing I do know is Karen wants to be in Fatima's position. She's not scared of Fatima. I don't think that she actually don't like Fatima. She just wants to be Fatima. And that's where the friction is right now. That's it. KBTV says, I don't want Karen to be scared of Fatima. She just needs to be respectful. I mean, that would be nice. I think that she's going to get to that place. But also, how many of y'all are running through life respectful all the time? Hi, Vashti. I don't think Zach is the father of either child. I need to make a video about that, because that statement in and of itself, the letting of Zach off the hook for his actions, that would make me mad simply for like this character not being accountable to his actions, period. Like, if it comes out that is the case, I would be like, wow, great. So Zach just, it's almost like he gets rewarded for all of the ridiculousness that is his past behavior. I don't agree, but, you know, it's Tyler Perry, so we never know. If Karen thinks she has pressure now, wait until she finds out Aaron is a nut. I don't think that Aaron is a nut. I'm keeping my hopes alive for Aaron. And the Sabrina and Maurice jailing needs to end, period. I talked about that at the start of the live, so go back and watch the beginning, because I talked about all of that with the jail situation. DNC says it can be whatever it's going to be. This ain't Heather or Deja. Let Fatima lay a finger on her and it's going to be hands, feet, and weapons flying. Her being smaller don't mean nothing. Yeah. I've seen bigger folks get whooped by a skinny person in real life countless times. Me too. Me too, child. You think that Karen needs to stop poking the bear. I mean, that would be nice. But, okay. I also think that that's the place that she's in. Like, y'all are big mad. Like, it's interesting to me how people are madder for Fatima than Fatima is. That's very interesting. Desi says, I think that the respect will come if it is Zach's child, because she will eventually have to come to terms that she needs to heal and move on. I think the respect is already there. She's just choosing not to act on it. Like, I do think that the letter reading did something. And we just haven't seen them interact yet, so I'm still having to hear comments about her being disrespectful, but she ain't done nothing to them in 3 episodes now. The next, run-in will be the thing that shows that. Like, I don't know what y'all want from Karen. Like, we already have seen her speak to, she likes Fatima. Her mother's like, yeah, she's a cool chick. Yeah, I know she's a cool chick. Like she's literally processing it, but nobody hears any of those things, because it's the last awful thing that she did, and that's the thing that you stay on until she does something else awful. I don't know. Like, she needs to put some respect on her name. Cool. So is Q an FBI informant? Yes. Logan is dumb because Q is his informant. Karen feels that she's losing what Fatima is getting. Yeah, and I think, Kathleen, the thing about this that also is the subtle story being told is the grass is not greener, honey. Karen can only see the house, how Fatima looks. I think that Zach also benefits a lot by way of Fatima was already together, girl. Fatima was already that girl, but now that she's with Zach and this is the package that Karen gets to see, it's oh wow, this is a full package. This is my package. So it makes sense. This is exactly what I wanted, and it looks like a lot more than it actually is, because she don't know. Well, now she knows a little bit about Heather, but she don't know the ins and outs of what's going on over there. She don't know about pulling Deja out the hot tub. She just don't know about the brother showing up randomly. She don't know about any of the other intricate things. She don't know about Zach's lack of she's just assuming because it looks great that, oh, he's listening to her and he's doing certain things. He 100% dropped the ball with the whole Ann thing. So, girl, he is still that same man that he was with you. He just has money now. But she can't see that, so she can't quantify that part. She's only quantifying what she can see, and we can't blame her for that. I believe, Carrie, that Zach is the daddy, but some of y'all no, he's still not the daddy, even though Tyler Perry keeps reaffirming it. Okay. JT says, I want Zach to either turn bi or get drunk and accidentally sleep with another man. Guess I'm just horny. That is not happening. He will sleep with Deja before. He will destroy their relationship by sleeping with Deja before that. I think that the whole Bryce and Zach thing was just something for Tyler Perry to do with Bryce's character and to have something interesting, potentially interesting to throw out there. The way he did it, I feel like he could have did it a little bit more nuanced, but Zach is not becoming bi magically. That's not happening. Then Zach needs to quit poking the bear with Aaron too. Right. I don't think that's a conversation that people are ready to have yet. Zach needs to cut the shit when it comes to Aaron. He really does. Desi says, yes, she is processing. Let her do that. I'm sure we have all been there. But we are acting like we haven't. And that's the one thing that y'all can say about me is, I have spoken from I can't really comfort a girl too hard because I've been her before. I can't remember any new chicken that I when I was still in love with my ex, Exactly. Oh, chick. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Karen is only saying things from the outside. Zatima is far from sunshine and rainbows. Very, very far. But they look good on a picture, baby. Zatima looks great on paper. But, child, what Fatima's having to do day in and day out in that relationship? Listen, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. It's a hell of a lot. Where are we at with time? Oh, we're only an hour and 16 in. Okay, cool. And the whole Zach and Aaron thing is not coming to a head anytime soon because they're going to be fighting in some smoothie shop or some sandwich shop or something. I feel like it's going to be around episode 14 or 15. Zach is going to still have smoke for Aaron in season 6. So, and I feel like they just finished filming season 6. They were just filming, I believe. But they haven't announced it being renewed or anything yet. But I really do feel like they were all like in Atlanta, and I think that they were filming. It wasn't just for promo for the 100th episode. When KJ got to go back to this damn Bob, I know that she's filming Sisters. I will say this over and over: more viewers are Karen than they are Fatima, yet they hate Karen the most. Jess Danielle. I'm going to repeat it because I don't think they heard you. Justin Yo says, I will say this over and over. More viewers are Karen than they are Fatima, yet they hate Karen the most. Which also ties into what we talked about earlier with cyberbullying and whatnot. A lot of people actually don't like themselves. So it's very easy for them to hate Karen. Because you are her or have been her. And you hate that about yourself. I think the T for me is like, I can identify that I have been her. And like, girl, I might have been tripping. Or, Erica, what the hell? But also, I learned from it. There's certain things that I will never do again. But I did definitely do. And I'm not mad at myself for it. I've forgiven myself for it. The person has forgiven me for it. And I don't hate that about myself. I speak about it freely. It's lived experience. I actually like myself. But that's the T. I like myself. A lot of these people don't like themselves. You said a word, honey. A word. Fatima already tired. Zach lied, telling him, and Tima what a healthy relationship looks like. He was just trying to make her jealous and throw everything up in her face as usual. It's so funny to me how everybody's like, Karen just wants to bash Zach and she's so mean to Zach. Meanwhile, Zach gets all those little shots like that off and nobody says boo. As if those are not mental shots as well, emotional shots as well. If Zach, KBTV says, if Zach loves Fatima so much, why he's so mad at Aaron? He's not over Karen, obviously, and really shouldn't be engaged yet. I'm like, Tyler Perry, are we about to have the conversation? Is Fatima like basically getting to that? Like, I say yes, but we really should not be engaged? Because I'd be here for it. For real. I would totally be here for it. Exactly, Jess. I've been Karen with kids and was actually the wife. It was terrible. Ooh, I'm sorry. Sorry she had to experience that, boo. And I hope that Aaron whoops his ass too. They probably fighting because Zach said some disrespectful stuff out of pocket. Nonsense to him again. He stayed bringing up his dead ex-wife. Like, for what? That is the most insensitive, just, like, it's not even about Aaron at this point. Like, to me, if you're that type of person that would say that, that speaks to who you are as a person. And it makes me look at you sideways. And yes, I do think that they are fighting because of Zach. Because every single time that we have seen them fight, it has been because of Zach. Some people were like, oh no, Aaron is probably sneak dissing and doing... Like, when have we seen Aaron actually sneak dissing? Never. When they fought and broke up Karen's house and broke her TV, that was initiated by Zachary. And I do believe that this sandwich shop altercation is going to be exactly the same. He be talking so insensitive. Some things you just don't say. Talk your but there is a line. Why he want to speak on the no longer living. Exactly. The woman unfortunately had mental issues. Mom was not in the right state of mind. Exactly. Yep. The real Erin Collins says, I don't necessarily hate Karen. I'm just saying that she's doing more damage to herself by being angry and bitter. So feelings could transfer to her unborn child and cause pregnancy issues. You tried it. By throwing the kid in there, you tried it. I think the thing, and I think that you're a guy by your profile picture, but it's really small, so I can't tell, and I'm not trying to misgender you, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you're a guy. The thing that a lot of people don't really get, and then guys don't get, most healing, grieving, climbing whatever mountain this is does not look pretty or clean or organized or well put together. So while people are like, Karen's just so bitter and angry, the best thing about this is like she's feeling it and she's also expressing it, because the people who are miserable for the rest of their lives and make other people miserable hold on to these things, keep these things inside, don't act on how they feel. And I say don't act on it, not because the action is actually good, but the action puts it out there so that not only you have to deal with it, but like other people, so then you can be held accountable and people can know that something is wrong. And like all of these other things come into play. So I think that we are being a little bit trite and just dubbing Karen this bitter, angry black woman who just needs to get over it, and not giving her this time, not looking at this process that we watch play out as the grieving, healing process that it actually is, and a very authentic healing process. Like, you could want somebody back and be kicking and screaming and throwing tantrums and all of that, but even that part of it is your way of like taking another inch forward out of it. You're more likely to stay in it, to stay stuck, if you don't do these things. So respectfully, no, I believe that your statement is a little incorrect. And I also am speaking from a place of like, again, I've been hurt. I've done some wild stuff. And that wild stuff did not keep me there. That wild stuff had me like, oh wait, like you feel this passionately about this so that you had to do this. Do you actually want to be a person who does this? No, you don't. Well, girl, what the hell? Like, a lot comes from like acting on your feelings and allowing yourself to feel your feelings. Is when you repress emotions and thoughts and memories and all of that you actually in trouble, in my opinion. The way that Zach always got her mouth is foul to me. Zach keeps somebody in his mouth. Like, it's so funny that he's so overcaring, but also like every chance he gets, it's like, I don't want to talk about Karen. Are you going to talk about Karen? It's like, sir, do you really just want to talk about Karen? Because he, like, keeps a lot of things in his mouth. It's interesting. Zach is like, sir, I need you to get a therapist, because also, I don't think Fatima is qualified to unpack all of what you got going on. Zach and Fatima shouldn't be engaged. It's been too much too soon, plus the drama. Just Danielle, I can agree, girl. Hi, April. Hayden reminds me of a Karen. Of a Karen or of Karen? Can you clarify for me? He is going after Zach for no apparent reason, just because he can. Even if he does take all of Zach's money, Fatima is not going to be with him. Exactly. Like, Hayden, let it go. And for me, Tyler Perry, if you're going to have Hayden on this show, then, like, let's be real. Let's call a thing a thing. Hayden is an incel. Show us that. Like, actually show us that. Expose the black community to what incels are. Because that's basically what Hayden is. And I didn't know what it was until like a year ago. And I was very shocked and appalled that it was a thing. Do this in incognito, because I don't want this like messing up y'all's like Google search or whatever. But Google incel. It's involuntarily celibate persons, typically men. And these men are wild. Like, they hate women, all because they feel like women discard them and don't want to sleep with them. And like, they just... It blew my mind when I learned that this was actually a thing. Hayden is one, and Tyler Perry could be doing a much better job of quantifying what he does and why he does it by making it clearer that this is who his archetype is and this is why he behaves this way. And again, he can also educate the black community, because I don't think it's something that we know. I think it's something that like white audiences will definitely know, because a lot of them are in it. But Google incel, y'all, but do it in incognito, because this shit that comes up, ghetto. What did Aaron ever do to Zach? Nothing. Be a stand-up guy when he was being trash. I feel Cookies 12 says, I feel like Karen just likes the boomerang effect she used to have with Zach. I don't agree. I think that Karen really loves Zach, but to each his own. You are a guy. Okay, perfect. Desi says, I just can't with people. Oh, why is Karen bitter? I mean, it's understandable why she is bitter in the moment. It's only been like a month. Literally, it takes time. That part. I'm sure most of us have had a bad breakup and felt the emotions. Yes. Oh, DNC, you're talking about how Zach kept talking about Karen on ZAC. And I'm just like, sir, what are we doing? Karen stayed in the mouths of the whole cast, and I was just like, what the fuck? She ain't even there. She ain't even on the show. She ain't make a guest appearance or nothing, and everybody is talking about this girl. Yeah. I don't know if they actually meant Hayden is like Karen. I think that, like on the show today, Tyler Perry was trying to say that Hayden is a Karen, like a white woman on a mission with no actual mission or no cause for the mission. I didn't know that people were comparing Hayden and Karen, the character. Just Danielle says, incels have been on YouTube for years now. I've been in these YouTube streets since practically the beginning, and there's always been incels. I'm sure, but I just didn't know that they were a thing. And that's why I also say search incognito, so that you don't start getting it populated. Because you know how these algorithms try to service what they think you want. And I went and like started looking, because I think I watched like a Vice documentary on them or something like that, and I wanted to know more, and then all of a sudden all this stuff started to pop up, and I'm like, oh no, don't service me this on the daily. I have tightened up so much now that I'm like more notable on YouTube. But like, I am a very intentional person who cares about her peace. So when I tell y'all I'm blocking people, I'm also very curated in reference to like what my news feeds look like, what my YouTube For You page looks like. I'm like, don't give me nothing I don't actually want. And I will say it. I will block things. I block artists on Spotify. If I don't align with them politically or personally, or feel like they're problematic, I will block them on Spotify so I don't never have to hear them again. I curate my life, period. Now I can absolutely say that I can't stay in Hayden. Yes, he's definitely an incel. I hate his podcast. Not the actor, but the character. Oh, Chris Warren is playing Hayden down. Like, Chris Warren is doing a damn thing when it comes to Hayden. DNC said, oh, excuse me, y'all. DNC says, Hayden definitely does the most. I feel there's more to him and Fatima's story than most think, and I can understand why he was initially hurt, but there's no excuse for his actions. No means no. Maybe it is more, but like, if it's not, then it's like, sir, she just don't want you, and that's okay. But even that, like, use him, Tyler Perry, to speak to consent. And like, sir, men are not entitled to women. Period. But, you know, who am I? He on some Fatal Attractions. But also, I feel like part of him is not even like doing this because he actually thinks Fatima's going to get with him after the fact. I think he's like, well, if I can't have her, you can't. And then he also wants to destroy it. Well, Gary and Andy need to be destroyed. I feel like he don't want to see nobody happy. Like, if he actually knew Aaron and Karen, he will be also coming for Aaron's ass too. Like, it just feels like he's that type of person. I didn't notice that. DNC says, and this is a bit random, but did you notice how Karen has been matching the past couple episodes? I love it. It gave me season 1, season 2 vibes. I used to love them. I did not notice that, but I have noticed like how calm she has been with him, and like they've been actually just having conversations and vibing, and I'm excited about that because there is definitely something there. It's a good solid foundation for their relationship to blossom. Just Danielle says, I had to block my baby daddy from my feed for my peace, so I get it. I block things all the time. Block it. Curate your life, your digital life, your real life. Control what you ingest, because you do not have to just ingest everything. You don't, and that's cool. Now you think that you might want Karen to have a totally new man, but if she chooses to finally move on, we're past the card out. This whole setup of like Aaron is too good to be true, I absolutely hate. Because it just to me creates the narrative, or further the narrative, that these type of black men don't exist. And I don't like that. I don't. Like, I want to believe. He does feel like that sometimes, but I want to believe that there are unicorns running around in the world, and every so often, a dope black woman runs into one, and they live happily ever after. Like, I want that I want to believe that. Hayden made it even clearer that he's into white women. He doesn't like black women. When did he make that clear? I feel like he don't like women. White, black, purple, green. And he only don't like them because he feel like they don't like him. And then you give him every reason to. Like, what is likable about you? Like, that's another thing. Like, when I was going back and watching that incel stuff, I'm like, well, what do you want women to do with you? Sit in your mama's house on this futon and watch you play anime game? I don't, like, what do you want? What do you want? Because you also have to give somebody something to connect with you on. You have to give somebody something that they can see themselves in, or that they could be interested in, that you could teach them about. Like, you have to give people something to interact with you about. Otherwise, you're just expecting me to entertain you, and I am not a damn chimp. You would think that after getting his ass kicked by both Fatima and ZAC, Hayden would go somewhere and sit down. But alas, that's what actually confirmed to me that he's an incel. Because those dudes do not give up. Their mission is destruction. Their hatred for women is real. And it's completely irrational. And that's kind of is what it is. Any other thoughts on tonight's episode? I'm going to have to do another Sisters Live because I didn't get to talk about... Like, I really want to go back to, like, season 1, season 2... and like talk about where we were and how we actually got here, because Tyler Perry moves so fast, but then also the timeline is not moving pretty much at all. Like, yo, when y'all really think about it, it has been less than 8 weeks since the start of this series. Since season 1, episode 1, it has been no more than 8 weeks ago, and we've gotten 5 seasons. That is bananas. That does not happen. So I also feel like so much gets lost because Tyler Perry is doing so much in such a little bit of time. TNC says, I don't think that Aaron is crazy. The team of fans just want him to be, because he stays making ZAC look like a piece of shit by being simply who he is, and TP better not give them what they want. Just to make ZAC look better and have him swoop in and be the hero again. I cannot. I hope not either. Don't sacrifice Aaron just so we can prop Zach up and not actually have any character development for Zach. Because that's all it would take. Like, I'm not even mad. Like, I think that Zach has a lot of growing to do, but I think that if he started to do it in this relationship, that would be perfect. Like, if he was working to be able to meet Fatima where she's at while they're in this relationship, I would be fine with them being engaged. I would be fine with them living together. But the fact that he's just not growing, he's just not. He's just getting attitude and having great sex. Like, that's all I really see him doing. And it's not enough for me. He makes Zach look like the immature man-child he is. DNC, tell him how you really feel. Well, you know that you always have a safe space here. I do hope that you make your way back to the other social media sites and build community. There are quite a bit of people who have started to come out the woodworks, at least in my community, and reach out to me, who like resonate with Karen and like understand certain things, or at least can speak to things from like both sides and just have really well-rounded conversations and not make like their love of a particular couple their personality types. So I say give it one more try. All right. Okay, JT, I think that you're trolling now, but I'm going to go ahead and address this just so that nobody can paint this narrative, honey. JT asks, are you completely against LGBTQ representation in ZAC, or do you find Zach turning bi unrealistic? Because I know you mentioned that earlier. Okay, personally, I feel annoyed that you asked the question of if I'm completely against LGBTQ representation in ZAC, because I've spoken about Bryce, and I've had no problems with Bryce as the person who represents that community on the show. Zach turning bi is completely unrealistic. I don't believe in diversity for diversity's sake. I don't believe in creating random ass tropes or using things like coming out story or queerness as some random shock value to a character that was never set up and has communicated that they will never be that way, but also has not been positioned as like a in the closet guy or any of those things. This is not a part of his archetype. So then to now be like, oh, let's make him bi, it's utterly ridiculous. And it's not utterly ridiculous because Erica has a problem with LGBTQ representation. It's utterly ridiculous because when representation for the queer community is shown, and it's not shown enough in media, but when it's shown, it needs to be authentic to those stories. And that is not an authentic story to just randomly make this character gay or bi for what? Even with you asking that and saying it, you said, oh, maybe I want this just because I'm horny. It's not even, you didn't even come from a real place in a setup or like how it could actually happen or how it can make sense. So for me, you asking the question of like, do I have a problem with the representation? I take high offense to it. And the answer to the question is no, I don't have an issue with representation of queerness on any show, on any film. However, I do want queer stories to be authentic and to be given the respect, to be given the just due that they deserve and not be arbitrary. Just like I don't think that black people should be used in random ass media to further an agenda. I don't think that queerness should be used just to further some random agenda or just to have queerness for diversity's sake. I feel like if you're going to tell the story, tell the damn story. Okay. Hayden is typical manosphere material. I didn't even know what the manosphere was, but I follow this YouTuber called FD Signifier, and he makes videos about the manosphere, so I've been like learning what that was. Like the whole red pill, blue pill, and like alpha male pot, like all of that is a world that I am just not a part of. Even when it comes up on my TikTok feed, I'm like, don't show me this again. Don't show me this again. Boop. Like, I don't have time for it. Those are not the men I want to attract. Those are not the men I want to interact with, whether it's romantically or like on a friendship level. Those are not the type of men that I actually have in my life. So like, I be so oblivious to these things until like I just randomly run across it. But Yeah, he is like manosphere material. It's crazy. It's utterly crazy. Yeah, for sure. I don't say that man's name, but he definitely gives fanboy of that man. Yes, it's a really great opportunity for them to tap into a queer storyline with Bryce. I want to like I can't wait for season 2 to figure out like how does Angela handle that? Like this is actually a conversation that me and my homegirls have been having recently about dating. And I am not at a place like I'm still processing and trying to like get to the bottom of like my whys for it. Like I know certain whys, but I'm like I ask myself why and why and why, so I try to get to like the root of things. But I personally I don't think I would be comfortable dating a bisexual man. And I want to see what Angela does, like in that coming out, and like is she gonna move forward? Is she okay with it? If she is, and what does that actually look like for her, and why is she okay with it? Not that it's bad or anything, but like to each his own. Like my homegirl, who I was just talking about this with last month when I was in Miami, she was like, "Oh, I think I would be open to it," and we were like literally talking about why she would be open to it and why I wouldn't. So I think that it's like beautiful. And that's not specifically to the queer storyline, but I think that that's a really great story that could be told. And then also like for this to be an Asian American man, there's certain things that we know stereotypically about that community and like the expectations that people have within that community. Like I can't wait to see like how he is navigating this. Part of me feels like because he's very insecure about it, like has he fully come out? Are we going to get his coming out journey? Like does he still need to make peace with certain things? Like what is like I need more. So yeah, I think we do have a really good setup for the LGBTQ story by way of Bryce and ZATIMA for sure. DNC says, I love the LGBTQ community and will also say that ZAC being bisexual does not come across realistic. How about we give Maurice a husband who is a real man that will treat and love him how he deserves? I'm here for that. Like, I don't need a ZATIMA wedding, but I could get with... Now, let me fix this because they're going to take this online and be like, Erica was never for them. I don't need a ZATIMA wedding anytime soon, but I could get with Maurice falling in love with somebody who really loves him back and like him having a husband. Give it to me immediately. And like Maurice still having like a little single-minded tendencies and a husband being hella like, this is what we're doing. This is the plan. We want to buy a house. We want to move out of this apartment. Calvin, you want to figure something out because in 6 months we're going to be buying a house and you can't come. I'm here for that. I would be totally here for it. I love that idea. Taylor says Deval will leave Sistas if TP turn his character. I mean, there's something to be said about that. Okay. Thank you for apologizing for wording it the way that you did. I appreciate it because it felt very trolly. But I do appreciate you taking the time to say that. This is some representation I want to see. Give Maurice a real man. To hell with Q. To hell with Q. Literally. Ooh, wait a minute. Bryce and Maurice? I did not think about that. But see, Maurice is going to have to get out of his comfort zone with his type. Because he wouldn't even see Bryce coming. Because he'd be looking for thugs. And Lord, that is something that could speak to a lot of our ministries, including mine. I'm surprised they made Bryce that type of character, considering the fact that Bryce comes from a culture that looks... Right! There is so much meat there for Tyler Perry to tell a really, 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 really juicy story. And there's not a lot of people telling it. Like, we have... Well, we had Pose. We got 20s. Y'all help me. We don't have a ton. we don't have a ton of like queer centric content. And then within that, it's not a ton of Asian American. Like, I can't think of one. I can't think of one queer Asian American character that's already telling a story. Yeah, we need it. We need it, Tyler Perry. You've been questioning Calvin ever since the panty incident. I don't think Calvin is gay. I don't think Calvin is queer at all. And I wish that Tyler Perry handled his story so much better too. Because it's all these little random one-offs of like, oh, it could be this, it could be. It's like, are we going to talk about it? Can we just talk about it? He's metrosexual. Cool. He is very much so in touch with his feminine side. It's nothing wrong with that. Like, oh, now it's giving me a timer. So it does cut off after 1 minute. I mean, after 1 hour. Or maybe it's 45 minutes. I don't know. But y'all, it's giving me a 2-minute countdown for like cutting me off. So we're at 1 minute and 30 seconds now. What are y'all's last thoughts, feelings, all of that around sisters and what we got going on in the sisters universe? Hey Vaughn, welcome Imple. Hey Kenny, how are you? Hey JH Hinton. Hello. People just see what they want to see. I agree, Zoe. I agree. And we all do it sometimes. We all do it sometimes. I'm going live every day for the next 10 days now, because we're doing 12 days of Livemas. Today was Sisters. Last night was All American. You can catch the replay on my second channel, Erica Vane TV 2. If you haven't subscribed already, please be sure to do so. Tomorrow we are talking about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and oh, wait. Yeah, it's Thursday. Okay. And then Friday, we're talking about P-Valley Child. I will be posting my entire list and schedule for all of the lives. I think everybody who joined me live tonight and, like, had this conversation with me, I appreciate y'all. Y'all the best. Desi, the member in the chat, holding it down. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, boo. I appreciate you. I love you so very much. Vaughn, we're going to have to catch up, honey, because I need your thoughts about the Sisters Universe. I hope all is well as we continue on this holiday season, honey. Yeah. It's been real, y'all. Thank you so much. And YouTube is trying to hate. I mean, IG trying to hate. So I have 8, 7, 6. See y'all tomorrow on the next